boundaries.
Right.
Okay? Terrorism is terrorism everywhere.
Right.
But the point is, to whom is it addressed against? Even if it is addressed against an army, okay? The brotherhoods, this terrorist organization, okay, cannot claim that it represents the Egyptians. It represents itself and its members.
Right.
And it will always be like that. It will be an outcast and will never be part of us. And whatever the Europeans are doing, and if they are trying to scare us by force so that we incorporate the brotherhoods into the political life, whatever is happening is making the Egyptians even more furious and more determined not to let them be incorporated in not just our political life, but we went that far as to claim that we will get court orders to take off their nationality. They do not deserve to be Egyptians. Who kills his people and hails when the bombs go down, and all of a sudden, by the way, Al Jazeera is there, you know, as if it is okay. On the spot. Exactly. Fortunate tellers, did they get fortunate tellers?
Actually, the video was transmitted minutes after the attack.
No, not minutes. It was live. It was live. So does Qatar dare now to deny that it is part of what is going in Egypt? To be honest, I demand from the president to cut off relations with Qatar. Really. It has gone that far. But he is humble, our president, and he has a heart, and he doesn't want to show that the Arabs are, factions and are not united. But it is high time, Mr. President. We have to cut our relations with Turkey, we have to cut our relations with Qatar, and we have to show a real pissed off attitude towards the European community or the European Union and the United States of America.
Actually, we don't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
No, there is no hope for something that they don't want to do. But at the end of the day, do you want to tell me that the Prince of Qatar is an independent ruler? I doubt. I doubt.
We all doubt. And still with Al-Ahram, and we read the African Union Summit concludes the activities with a firm message against terrorism. And Shokri says, we cannot understand the American excuses for hosting a Brotherhood delegation. The African Summit ends its meetings with a firm message against terrorism and Ebola. Adopting the nomination of Egypt for the non-permanent membership of the UN Security Council and approving Cairo's vision to solve the African conflicts. Still with the same issue, and from Al-Yom Al-Sada front page, we read, the foreign minister says, we do not understand the statements of the U.S. State Department and the reasons it gave to justify its contacts with the Brotherhood. Egypt receives the chairmanship of the African Presidents and Heads of Governments Committee that deals with the case of climate change. And foreign minister says, we do not understand the U.S. contacts with Brotherhood elements involved in terrorist attacks in Egypt. How do you see the foreign minister comments regarding U.S. contacts with the Brotherhood?
Is it new? I mean, is it new, such a multifaceted, attitude of the United States? When they were giving the Kurds military weapons through an aeroplane, and they miss suddenly and give it to Daesh. Who is supporting the terrorism in the world? It is the United States. Wasn't the United States the one who created Taliban, as our president yesterday? He did not mention really the United States, but he says they create, he said they created something like Taliban and just left it and fled away. This is,
and again it's repeated with Daesh, the same issue.
When they did the same thing they've done in Iraq. Okay, now let's face the United States once and for all. Okay, when the speaker of the State Department 2 days ago, she was asked about this meeting, it denied. And when it was exposed, oh, we meet everybody. And 2 days, 24 hours prior to the attack in Sinai, now, really, the United States has to come outspoken. She should have the courage, really, to tell us, I'm fighting the Egyptian people. I'm fighting again 90 million individuals in Egypt. I again will stand against the will. This democracy piece of shit that they are really exporting to us is only to them. It's okay, but when it comes to us, no. We are just, they think we are illiterate, we are uneducated, and we deserve to die. No, we will not die, and we shall prevail.
Right, and back to Al-Ahram, and we read the Court of Emergency Cases says Al-Qassam a terrorist group. The Court for Emergency Cases bans the armed wing of the Palestinian group Hamas and lists it as a terrorist organization. The court rules to ban the Izz-ad-Din al-Qassam brigades and to list it as a terrorist group. And now we go for this report.
An Egyptian court on such day banned the armed wing of Hamas and listed it as a terrorist organization. Hamas is an offshoot of the Brotherhood, which the authorities have also declared a terrorist group. The ruling came days after Egypt was hit with some of the bloodiest militant attacks on security forces in years. The case was based on allegations that the Qassam brigades staged terrorist attacks to support the Brotherhood and carried out a bombing and shooting operation which killed 33 security personnel in the Sinai Peninsula in October of 2014. Cairo has for many years played a central role in engineering ceasefires between Israel and Hamas, which dominates the Gaza Strip, including a truce reached between the sides in August that ended a 50-day Gaza war. Egyptian officials say that weapons are smuggled from Gaza into Egypt, where they end up with militant groups. Militants based in Sinai, which borders the Gaza Strip, have killed scores of police and soldiers since Mohammed Morsi was deposed after a popular revolution.
And from Al-Ahram we read, presenting 3 projects in the economic conference. Mahlab says nothing will hinder us from building Egypt. In the presence of the Saudi and United Arab Emirates Finance Minister, Mahlab says the economic conference shall be held as scheduled, and Al-Assaf says the Saudi private sector will fully participate. And Al-Jabr says the United Arab Emirates stresses its full support to Egypt. Salman says presenting 30 projects in all fields. Still with the same issue, and from Al-Masri Lyon page 3 we read, Mahlab says the economic conference will be held as planned. The Prime Minister starts a visit to Kuwait. What's your comment on this last piece of news in very brief, Dr. Mervat, please?
Sure, but let me just say pose one question to Hamas. Aren't they the military arm of the Brotherhoods? So it is verified, it is justified, the court ruling. Certainly all these attacks have been carried out. Why? To make this conference free, the economic conference, knowing that this is a way out to the economic situation in Egypt. But it will not hinder us. Life goes on as you see it. Okay.
Right. This last piece of news, presenting 30 mega investment projects in all fields rather than 3, which we just read now.
I want to correct you, but I didn't do that.
And with this, we come to the end of our daily press review. Dr. Mervat Madkoor, thank you very much for being with us. And stay tuned. We'll be back to resume our breakfast show.